Welcome back to DHN. My name is Wade. Let's talk crypto. We're going to start with a major milestone for Stellar Lumens. As you can see here, Franklin Templeton announces the Franklin on-chain US government money fund has surpassed 270 million in assets under management. Now, if you don't know, this fund is running on Stellar Lumens, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this goes back quite some time. As a matter of fact, I got it for you here. Back in 2019, Franklin Templeton first announced plans for a mutual fund, and they were going to tokenize it on the Stellar blockchain. And we know since then, we've had quite the crypto market. We've seen a bull run, and we are now currently in a bear cycle. So, a lot of development has happened, and to see them achieve nearly $300 million in assets under management during that time, this is big. Okay, this is big for Stellar Lumens. Now, that's not all we're going to talk about in this video. If you follow me on Twitter, you guys know that we're going to be focusing on the three coins, the three main X's: XRP, XLM, and XDC. So that means we got some Ripple news. This is fresh off the press from Watcher Guru. Now, sometimes Watcher Guru can get a little bit out of hand, but this story is very interesting, especially when we pair it with what India is discussing right now. And remember, they are the presidency for the G20 this year. That means that they are the head of the table, head of the round table, and they're leading the discussion. And the discussion that they're leading with is crypto assets, DLT, guys. We're going to break that down. And also, yes, I am aware. Now, we've been working on the Battle of the Blockchains videos, and that doesn't mean I haven't been paying attention to the news. Over the weekend, the EU's markets in crypto assets legislation, the bill, it reached its final stages, guys. And as a matter of fact, all it has to do now is go to the council, be formally endorsed. That means they got to sign off on it, and it'll officially be law 20 days after that. Now, there's some more steps to the process, guys, but once I tie this all together, it's going to make a lot more sense because we are about to enter a very interesting stage. Okay, not necessarily sure if it's going to be positive or negative as far as price goes. I personally feel like we are definitely going to be heading back up. All right, the sell off in May is coming. It's just happened. If it to me now, it feels like it's built into the market, but this feels so much like 2020, 2021. Okay, if you weren't in the market in that 2 year time period, man, gains. Okay, and it's funny how it's all around a halving. Bitcoin's next halving is next year. Litecoin's halving is in 100 days. So there's going to be a lot of interesting activity. Okay, we're going to talk all about it, and then lastly, we're going to leave. I just want to touch on this gold-backed digital currency narrative that's starting to appear. Texas did it at the beginning of the year. Russia and then Iran announced that they were going to be working on a gold-backed digital currency. So things are interesting, but we know that one of our assets, specifically XDC, has a partner in the form of Comtech Gold and Globiance that they can tokenize precious metals. So if we are about to get into that discussion, ladies and gentlemen, hey, you know what time it is. But let's jump back to the top here and let's dive into this first ever US registered mutual fund on the Stellar blockchain. Now, as they alluded to in the headline, we have surpassed $270 million in assets under management. And what makes this so appealing is that the technical architecture for this fund, it's all running on Stellar. Now, it says here, the fund's transfer agent maintains the official record of share ownership via a proprietary blockchain integrated system that currently utilizes the Stellar blockchain network for transaction activity. The fund is the first US registered fund to use a public blockchain to process transactions and record share ownership, and is available through the Benji's investment app, guys. And I got that pulled up for us right here. Now, unfortunately, if you're, an Android user like me, we can't get access to this. Not yet. All right. I already know that at some point down the line, they're going to expand this to Android. But as of right now, if you're an iPhone user, you can tap into this fund, guys. And they go to describe what the connection is and some of the benefits down here. It says Franklin On-Chain US Government Money Fund offers a competitive yield. The fund is regulated by the 1940 Act, and you can invest. Oh, The fund invests, 99.5% of its total assets in government securities, cash, and repurchase agreements collateralized fully by government securities or cash. The goal is to provide investors with a high level of current income as is consistent with the preservation of the shareholders' capital, and they aim to maintain a stable share price of $1. Now, one share of Franklin's on chain US government fund is represented by one Benji token. Token holders can gain exposure to the fund in the digital wallet through the Benji investment app. Stellar Development continues to recognize the functions and potential applications for these tokens in the digital ecosystem. So there's a quote here where they state the head of digital assets, Mr. Roger Baston, for Franklin Templeton, he states that alongside saying that blockchains like Stellar are perfect for this type of thing, they plan on eventually being able to interoperate with the rest of the digital asset ecosystem. So there are plans to expand this to maybe other chains. Could be interesting. Or maybe you can get to other assets within the Stellar ecosystem. That would also be very interesting, as opposed to having to go on chain to access Stellar assets. You would now have a US registered place to access Stellar tokens. That'd be big. That'd be big, guys. But now let's talk a little bit of XRP. They have confirmed that ODL payments are now available in India, guys. And of course, when we're talking ODL, we're talking RippleNet. Now, Watch Your Guru is getting this from Ripple's new quick guide, and it says that on-demand liquidity is available in India as well as Brazil, Mexico, and Southeast Asia. And we all know what click Brazil is running with. So that's very interesting. I have been paying attention, especially now that these BRICS nations are way a lot more out in the media and talking about what their intentions are. I have been paying attention to the projects that are starting to align themselves with those interests. Okay. XRP, Stellar, we already know. XDC, definitely three coins that are beginning to do that with the work that they have done before. Now, this goes on to describe how it's basically the use of RippleNet, which is where you get the on-demand liquidity. In our XRP versus XLM video, as a matter of fact, kind of broke down how that system works. You got the X Current, you got the X Rapid, and you got the X Via. They serve three different tiers for retail payments. And in India, there's a whole lot of volume. Okay. They've been on ISO since 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Have to go back and check that video out. But yeah, they've been on ISO. So that's a high volume market, a lot of money moving through there, a lot of payments coming in and out of India. So this was the perfect market for them to go to. Now, outside of the technical advantages, the perfect landscape, if you will, for XRP, India themselves, okay, we touched on this in the beginning, they are the presidency for the G20. And that means that the agendas that the G20 look to push forward, they nominate different countries to represent leadership for the rest of the world. India has been chosen for this year's G20. And ever since the start of the year, ever since they made the announcement that India was going to be the presidency, all they've talked about is uniform crypto regulation, global crypto regulation, ladies and gentlemen. And now, in the latest meeting, the finance minister, Nirmala Sitharaman, is again promoting the use of DLT. She says that crypto regulation does not mean technology control. Now, crypto aside, finance aside, I enjoy her spirit. When I watch her talk, she's so calm. Okay. It really seems like she could walk through a storm and not be bothered at all. So, her mind, her vision, where she's leading the nation, you can trust it, in my opinion. Okay. And if we have XRP, XDC, Stellar working out there, you can say that the sentiment is shared. Now, outside of India, they mentioned that other Asian countries like Singapore also see potential in DLT use cases such as asset tokenization and cross-border payments. Something else I do want to bring up here, since we're about to jump into the MiCA discussion EU in 2021, and I remember making a video In 2021, I remember making a video about this. India was one of the first countries to put forth any form of crypto regulation, period. Okay, like to really begin the discussion, they were one of the first ones. And I went back to this article here, courtesy of Forbes, and they stated that the cryptocurrency bill of 2021 is a legislative initiative that was introduced in the Lok Sabha by the government to regulate the thriving market of crypto in India. The industry has seen a rush of investment in the last few years, especially during the COVID period, and not just domestically, but also internationally. By introducing the cryptocurrency bill in 2021, the government officially took a step towards regulating cryptocurrency. The bill seeks to create a favorable structure for the creation of official digital currency that will be issued by the Reserve Bank of India. It also prohibits all other private cryptocurrencies, but with certain exceptions to boost the underlying technology of cryptocurrency. Okay, so I give you that, and then we jump into this here, markets and crypto assets. And then we jump into this here, markets and crypto assets legislation coming from the European Union, guys. Now, I have been telling you for months, once this thing gets official, once it goes into the books, we're going to see a new stage in this market. Okay. That's why I've been following the regulation narrative, because it's a very crucial piece, guys. It's a very crucial piece. Now, a lot of people are saying that this MiCA legislation is it's very loose, but in my research, I don't think so. It literally covers everything: crypto exchanges, it covers crypto mining, it covers stable coins, utility tokens, payment tokens. There's a classification depending on the underlying technology, right? And then if you zoom out and you go down to Australia, earlier this year, what did they do? They came out with a full bill that was classifying crypto assets based on what they could do. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a pattern. We now have a pattern. Three nations coming forward with crypto regulation. Three major nations coming together with crypto regulation, okay, that is centered around what the token can do. So that shows you what the global sentiment is. Honestly, when you remove all the fluff, it shows you what the global sentiment is. They just want to know what the technology can do. Okay? That's what we've been preaching. They've like, hey, you say you can reduce this. They say you can reduce that, make this more efficient, so forth and so on. Okay, we're going to put down the framework for you. Let me see what you got. That's what we got here, ladies and gentlemen. And then we can also go and look at these smaller nations, okay? Italy, San Marino, their whole legislation there. There's another country. Oh, can't think of it right now, but you guys know I got a video on it on this channel. But basically, a lot of the smaller nations we saw from 2020 throughout 2021, leading into the bull run and out of it, what we saw were the smaller nations establishing their guidelines and frameworks. And now we go into a full bear market where prices are cheaper. So if you want to experiment and test with these projects, you stand to gain more, right? We've had the bigger nations come in with their regulation and their frameworks and guidelines, things like that. So, uh, man, it's that's what I like about this space, is that if you let the events play out, wow, the story that has been told. That is why I was on that's why I was on that in recent months, guys. Like with the videos and the editing and the documentary style. Like when I look into this stuff now, it reminds me of another world, man. It reminds me of another world. Now, what else? I also want to bring this up, guys, and we're going to jump into the gold backed token situation. But I want to remind you of this. This is a slight overview of EU funded blockchain related projects. Now, before we decided to do the niche down, we talked about IOTA a lot. IOTA is definitely going to be one of the projects to benefit from this markets and crypto asset bill tremendously. But this is also going to open the floodgates for the various EU funded blockchain programs that have been in the works for the last couple of years, guys. Okay. So we have the European blockchain pre commercial procurement. Of course, we know that's the one that IOTA is taking part of, but a couple of these other ones I did not know about, like Horizon 2020, which is essentially where the European blockchain pre-commercial gets their funding from. And then we have Connecting Europe facility, which the deployment of the EU's blockchain services infrastructure. They're responsible for that. So with this markets and crypto asset bill coming into the fold, they can now incorporate more blockchains into that infrastructure. And we know Ripple really deep in Europe. Okay, and XDC, they now have another opportunity. All right, they now have another opportunity. And when it comes to Stellar Lumens, yeah, they've been doing a lot of work in the EU. Of course, can't pull it up offhand, but we know the relationship they're building in the US, it's obviously going to transpose over to the European Union. Okay, that's just how they work. So with this markets and crypto assets bill, all of these projects, guys, and you can see it talks about where they're specifically focused in security, public services, IoT, sustainability, energy, advanced manufacturing, 5G, AI, food security, innovation support, media, and social media. Okay, so I was listening to a Twitter space, guys, and you know, I'm not going to name the specific space, but it's okay. Here's my thing. The reason why I believe that this bill is going to be so earth shattering is because the Europe has been preparing for this for the last 5 years. Okay? The last 5 years. They've known what they were going to do with this technology. They just needed to develop the proper framework. They needed to do the proper study to develop the proper framework to make this happen. And now it's here. So, all we got to do is let this play out, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to let this play out. Now, let's close out talking about these gold back digital currencies, guys. I ain't gonna be too long with it because it's still something that's developing. All right. Like I said, January, word comes out, Russia is looking into gold back currencies. Then last month, and this is what really brought my attention back to it, Texas proposed a bill for to allow the same thing to happen here in the United States. Now, what's interesting about the story in Texas is that it involves their Texas Bullion Depository, goes back to at least 2018. It's a whole lot going on. But what I want to highlight here is this is a new discussion being had now. This is a new narrative forming. Okay. And I did a video, I believe it was the RSR video, where I brought up the fact that central banks in the since 2020 really have ramped up their gold buying and their gold reserves. Mainly Russia, China, India, Brazil. Hmm, those nations, right? So we have Zimbabwe getting into the gold backed digital currency game. Zimbabwe is a part of South Africa, and South Africa is the S in BRICS. And what they're essentially going to do is, according to the Sunday Mail, and we have it here, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is set to introduce a gold backed digital currency to be used as legal tender for transacting in the country as part of interventions to stabilize the local currency. Introduction of the digital gold tokens, a form of electronic money backed by gold held at the Reserve Bank, will represent the first steps by the central bank towards using the country's gold reserves to anchor the Zimbabwe dollar. Now, there was a lot of gold discovered sometime last year, South Africa, a heap ton. I made a video about it. Somebody checked me on the how gold is moved around the world and that whole thing. I learned a lot from that experience. But I wonder if you watch this video now and you make it to this segment, uh, what's next? Because I'm pretty sure in that I said that this was going to be the next stage coming out of South Africa. Okay, and now here we are. So they're going to initially do this by backing their gold reserves by backing the currency by the reserves of gold that they have. But let's say those reserves, hmm, let's say you deplete them a bit. Your next best solution would be to tokenize it, right? That made me go all the way back here. All right, and I'm gonna leave you with a question here. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of homework. All right. So Comtech Gold, we know, runs on XDC, and through Globians, they can now do gold and silver tokenization. They also have a Shahara certification, which gives them clearance in the Middle East and North African region. Now, my question is, Even though the certification serves the North African region, could this potentially work South Africa? I don't see why it wouldn't. Okay. I don't see why it wouldn't. And then if so, here's the thing. If they have the clearance in North Africa, then that would just give them more respect as a company to then branch out into other parts of Africa. And if that's the case, then we could be looking at a catalyst, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This is just these are two instances that are just very close together that are very interesting to me. So, with all that being said, though, guys, that's all I got for this one. Yes, I decided to go back to the old format, to the old style. I really had to go back and look at some of my old videos and be like, man, what brought these people here? You know, what I felt like I needed to go back to what brought me to the dance. Because, the documentary style videos, they're fun. I love putting them together, the research, the learning, all that good jazz. But the YouTube, when it comes to the money side, it's becoming a thing. It was becoming a thing, but I have found a solution for it. Okay, that solution, I'll be announcing that in May. Okay, don't worry about it. But from now on, this is how we're kicking it, man. Okay, I'm giving you how I interpret this space on a daily. That's what I'm gonna give you here. All right. So with that being said, if you found value, of course, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that way you don't miss the next video. Also, check out the links in the description. We got some uphold down there where you can buy XRP, XDC, and Stellar easily. And then you can store it in cold storage with SafePal or EliPal. I would go with SafePal, as well as DHN Crypto Journal for the real crypto researchers. All of that will be down in the description. With that, you know what I'm about to tell you. Have a great day. Have a prosperous day. And most importantly, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'm Wade Teamer, and I'll see you in the next video.